Hello and a very warm welcome to Tech Circle. You're listening to Tech This Week, where we bring you up to speed with the most important weekly developments in the enterprise and emerging technology space in India. In today's episode, we discuss Q3 earnings of the top IT players of the country, Tesla's much-awaited entry in the Indian market, WhatsApp's privacy policy update and the rise of Signal, RBI to keep tabs on unregulated digital lenders, and Google India tightens leash on money lending apps. I'm Shweta Sharma, and joining me from the Tech Circle newsroom are my colleagues Payal Ganguly, Supriya Roy, and Dibangna Ghosh. It's earnings season again, and let's begin with the top IT players of the country posting their Q3 results. And what a stellar set of numbers from all of them, and TCS witnessing the best Q3 in over 9 years. Wow. Supriya, you were tracking the numbers quite closely, and do you think digital transformation was the key here?
Yes, so 4 of the 5 big Indian IT firms have already reported, like you mentioned, that's TCS, Infosys, Wipro, and HCL. So yeah, all of the companies made for flashy year-on-year profit jumps. However, I think the story so far in 2020 has been that of a recovery rather than growth, given how deal momentum went low below at say the March levels, and then it went back up in the December quarter. So, but yeah, tech stocks always have performed pretty well during harder times, right? For otherwise asset-heavy industries. So even before results, if you notice, all of the companies were comfortably priced in terms of their stock. But for the such growth to sustain, you'll also require other engines of the economy that are asset-heavy and who have higher IT spends in a normalized economy for business to go back to pre-COVID levels. And so I think we're still a quarter or two away from that. Not taking it away from how good quarter Q3 has been. Now, coming to the numbers for the third quarter, operating margins have been good for all, considering the lower travel spend, the lower facility costs, and increased onshore workforce presence. Now, with the revenue guidance spelled for the fourth quarter, that appears to be in the same 20-odd% club. But yeah, Shweta, like you mentioned, all the 4 companies' management stressed on deal momentum thriving from this from digital service lines. So that again will remain the flavor 2020, pushing on to 2021. Additionally, what I think is also important, how these deals in the third quarter have depended on seasonality, given new growth coming in from sectors such as healthcare and life sciences. We'll see that with Infosys plus vaccine solution.
Got it. Isn't Cognizant also supposed to announce its last quarter results in the first week of February?
Yeah, Cognizant, I think is the 3rd of February. But it also made news this week. It announced 2 different acquisitions and also announced a new go-to-market strategy and leadership change to streamline its digital businesses. In email to employees. On Monday, it said it'll acquire Servian, which is a Sydney-based enterprise transformation consultancy that specializes in data analytics, artificial intelligence, digital services, experience design, and cloud. And on the same day, it also proposed to acquire, it said it'll acquire Linium, New York-based Linium, which is a cloud transformation consultancy group specializing in ServiceNow platform and solutions for the smart digital workforce, smart digital enterprise workflows. So I'm hoping the company takes us through all of these new strategies in the upcoming earnings call.
And in another news, Elon Musk's Tesla finally enters India. The news has been all around, trending on Twitter, television, everywhere else. But what's funny is the hush-hush ways the company and the stakeholders have been employing.
Yeah, in fact, Karnataka's chief minister deleted his tweet overnight after making an official announcement through it and welcoming the EV company to the state. The company has been equally mum, not answering any of the media calls or queries.
Yeah, I saw one tweet by Musk which said "as promised," but also there were lots of memes about Tesla's algorithms figuring out its way through India's roads and traffics. Let's see, how fast can it go?
Yeah, exactly. So as per ROC registration, what the updates that we got is that the Indian subsidiary is going to be called as Tesla India Motors and Energy. According to the filing, it got incorporated in January 8th in Bangalore, and going by the Karnataka CM's tweet and the media reports that we have come across, The company will be setting up its R&D unit in the state. So there were other follow-up media reports from various sources, anonymous sources rather, which says that as of now, in the due course of action, they are not planning to set up a manufacturing plant in the country, but they are obviously looking to sell their products in the country and are going to set up outlets across the country. The company had also appointed 3 directors for the India unit, David Princeton and Vaibhav Taneja from the Tesla global company, and a Bangalore-based entrepreneur, Venkatarangam Sriram, who used to also work at Tesla at one point.
So to discuss Tesla's entry and the Indian EV space, we are also joined by Shreyas Chibulal of Micelio. Hi Shreyas, welcome to the show. And let's start with talking about how the EV space in India is reacting to the pandemic. Has it suffered a setback?
I can speak from my perspective. I think it's, the pandemic and various geopolitical situations has affected the supply chain, especially for EVs. I think we're quite dependent on, of course, China. A lot of EV players in India are. But I think it's encouraged us to think in different ways and see how we can diversify the supply chain. So while us as a company, I can definitely say that we face some challenges and force us to think differently and see how we can localize more. Obviously, from policy perspective, that's definitely in the direction that things are headed.
Yeah.
But from an adoption perspective and from a supply chain perspective, I think it's encouraged us to think in different ways.
Okay, and what exactly do you think Tesla's entry mean for the Indian EV market?
Yeah,
does it intensify the competition?
So Tesla, obviously is they say it's the most valued car, automobile manufacturer in the world right now, and they've carved out a nice niche for themselves in Europe and in North America primarily, and also in China, obviously the developed countries, right? If you look at India. As I said, 70 to 80% of the vehicles on the road are 2 and 3 wheelers. And while there is a growing, 4-wheeler segment, it'll be interesting to see how they'll be able to, create a product for the Indian market. I think obviously there is a luxury vehicle market in India. But it'll be interesting to see, what they'll do. Will they try to, introduce their existing models to create some traction in the luxury segment, and then maybe eventually work towards a more localized product for the masses. Or it'll be interesting to see, and it really depends on their strategy. I can't necessarily I can't necessarily comment on what it means for competition, because it really depends on the company's strategy and how they're really looking at capturing a piece of the Indian market.
All right, Shreyas, thank you so much for taking the time out and sharing your insights.
Yeah.
Moving on, WhatsApp's new privacy policy seems to have caught users' attention, and there has been a sudden surge of customers on alternate messaging apps like Signal and Telegram.
Which is true. There's been, almost everybody on these messaging apps, Shweta, and Signal actually has seen 2.3 million downloads worldwide between the period of January 6th to January 10th. And Telegram claimed that it has 25 million new users who joined the app in 72 hours preceding January 30th. So those are some stellar numbers, actually.
Hey, but Payal, how good is Signal? Are any of you on it, Shweta, the Bangana?
I am, and half of my contact book looks like. So historically, Signal seems to have been used for conversations between journalists and sources anyway, to keep it secret. And interestingly, Signal is who helped out WhatsApp put the end-to-end encryption on its chats way back in time in 2016, I suppose, using its open source protocol OWS.
Personally, I have been on Telegram and not sure how safe it is because I've been getting a lot of unknown people and groups, random groups adding me in and unknown people texting. So, is it really safe, Payal? How safe is Telegram?
I know what you mean, Debangna. I think, I have been on Telegram for a while now because there was previously a lot of chatter around people moving to Telegram saying WhatsApp, has broken end-to-end encryption. But the problem is that the chats on Telegram are encrypted only if you actually go into the settings and activate the option, not by default. So.
Yeah. So now since Signal is WhatsApp founder Brian Acton's second messenger app product, how different do you think is going to be from WhatsApp? And is the industry expecting Signal to take over and retain a major share of WhatsApp's user base?
Not sure about that, Debangna, though all of them are very good questions. Interestingly, Acton did not help, set up Signal. So he's the co-founder of the non-profit which runs Signal and had invested $50 million in the company back in 2018. Now, Acton spoke to PTI and a couple of other publications and said that the app does not collect data other than the account details on the account itself, the date of creation, as well as the last date and time of login. He did say that the focus will continue to remain on privacy and security, but remains to be seen.
There was also a Union Labour Ministry proposal a few days back hinting at WhatsApp and social media to be used for salary-related communication once the new labour codes are implemented in the next few months.
That remains to be seen, Shweta, because there seems to be another, appeal in the High Court, I believe, asking about WhatsApp's privacy policies. So until that roadblock is clear, we can't be too sure.
Yeah. In other app-related news, what's this deal with digital lending apps? First the RBI, and now Google seems to have woken up to the dangers of unlicensed players in the space.
Well, you might have heard of the spate of suicide by deaths which were reported during December and earlier this year. Most of them were linked to lending apps, Supriya, actually. So turns out a lot of lending apps which do not have bank or NBFC licenses lend for short cycles of 7 to say 10 days. And this kind of pushes people indirectly into a debt trap because there's no salary coming in between for that short period of time. And, it's a vicious cycle, basically.
But aren't digital lenders supposed to not lend for less than a stipulated time of 120 days?
So these apps aren't exactly playing fair, Debangna. So basically what happens is they will say that the cycle is for 120 days. But turns out most of the users who kind of resort to these apps, and these are typically users who are either underbanked or do not have the necessary CIBIL scores, they log in and then they are told by the app that you don't qualify for the 120-day period, but you do qualify for a loan for 7, 10 or 15-day repayment cycle. And so this kind of circumvents the requirements. So yesterday I was speaking to Shrikant of Cashless Consumer, which is a collective in the digital payment space. And he said that often these suicides by death, which were linked to the digital lending apps, have shown that a single user had close to almost 20 lending apps on their phone.
At least Google banning 450 plus apps will help in some context.
It is a step, Shweta, but not a lot, since looks like most of these apps are also marketed heavily and through advertisements within games, during OTT streaming, etc. So while Google is one channel and, it is taking a step in the right direction because it's seen the kind of backlash in other countries, we definitely need better regulations though.
On that note, it's a wrap on this episode of Tech This Week. Do stay tuned in and logged on to techcircle.in for more interesting news and updates. Thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.